Cults are a sociological phenomenon. They are usually led by a charismatic leader who requires unwavering devotion to a set of beliefs and practices. Some cults are benign or even beneficial, but others can be malignant or deadly. Here is a selection of cult leader thoughts, followed by a brief description of their organizations. If we can't live in peace, then let's die in peace. We didn't commit suicide. We committed an act of revolutionary suicide, protesting the conditions of an inhumane world. Jim Jones. In the Jonestown Massacre, they drank Flavor Aid, laced with cyanide, tranquilizers, and sedatives. A total of 918 people died, and Jim Jones died from a gunshot wound to the head. I can't dislike you, but I will say this to you. You haven't got long before you are all going to kill yourselves because you are all crazy. Charles Manson. In 1969, the Manson family, led by Charles Manson, killed 9 people. They were suspected of killing 26 more. Manson wanted to start a race war, but he was also angry about not achieving the Hollywood stardom that he craved. In 1971, Manson and 4 followers were sentenced to death. However, in 1972, capital punishment in California was abolished, and their death sentences were commuted to life in prison. Divine Communion time is here, little kiddies. Father Yod. The Source family began as a popular vegetarian restaurant on the Sunset Strip. Father Yod created a commune in a mansion called the Mother House. Over 150 young people lived, worked, and slept together at the Mother House. Father Yod married 14 young women he called spiritual wives. They were supported by the profits of the restaurant. The Source family sold the restaurant and moved en masse to Hawaii the day after Christmas, 1974. Even though we are deceived, still believe. Though we are betrayed, still forgive. Love completely, even those who hate you. Sun Myung Moon. Unification Church Reverend Sun Myung Moon believed that he was the Messiah, that he was sinless, and that he was the true father of mankind. He famously conducted mass weddings. Although his church was called a cult, it continued to grow. He spent 13 months in prison for tax evasion, and he eventually transferred his leadership to his children. These people remain here because I have thoroughly opened to them the 7 seals. David Koresh. David Koresh headed the Branch Davidians, an offshoot of Seventh-day Adventists. He believed that he was a prophet, and along with his followers, stockpiled a cache of weapons in anticipation of the apocalypse. The Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms raided the Waco compound on February 28, 1993. They fought for 51 days, and the siege ended when the Davidians set fire to 3 sections of the compound. 4 federal agents and 82 Branch Davidians, including Koresh, died. And ladies, build up your husband by being submissive. That's how you will give your children success. You will want your children to be obedient, to be submissive to righteous living. Warren Jeffs. Warren Jeffs is the president, prophet, seer, and revelator of FLDS Church, the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It is a polygamous movement and has no affiliation with the Mormons. When his father died, Jeffs married all but 2 of his widows. FLDS forced underage females to marry older men. Warren Jeffs was indicted on several sexual misconduct charges and is serving a life sentence after being convicted on 2 felony counts of sexual assault. Heaven is here to stay, and sex is here to stay. We'll be able to enjoy many of these so-called fleshly pleasures on the other side, like Jesus did. David Berg. David Berg believed that God had a special mission for him. Thinking the apocalypse was near, he encouraged members to give everything to the church leaders. He was sex-centric and encouraged sexual activity, including sex with underage people. He was even accused of sexually abusing his own daughters and granddaughters. The group is now called the Family International and primarily exists as an online network. Knowing what to do is useless without the emotional strength to do what you know. Keith Raniere. NXIVM started in 1998 as a self-help organization and conducted workshops for 18,000 people. But there was a secret inner core group. Women were forced to have sex with leader Keith Raniere and to be branded with his initials. In 2017, the Justice Department began an investigation with accusations of sex trafficking, identity theft, extortion, money laundering, and obstruction of justice. Raniere was sentenced to 120 years in prison for sex trafficking, child pornography, racketeering, and other crimes. There are people who don't even want to preach about Jesus. They say their children are crying because they are hungry. Let them die. Is there a problem there? Pastor Paul Mackenzie. Kenyon Paul Nthenge Mackenzie is the pastor of Good News International Church. The former taxi driver ordered his followers to starve so they could go to heaven before his predicted end-of-the-world date. Over 300 people died in Shakahola Forest, and 600 people are still missing. Government pathologists stated that the bodies showed signs of starvation, suffocation, and beatings. We do, in all honesty, hate this world. Marshall Applewhite. Heaven's Gate was the first cult to use the internet for recruitment. They made the bulk of their money designing websites. Marshall Applewhite maintained that in order to climb to the next level of existence, death might be necessary. On March 26, 1997, 39 bodies were found in a mansion in Rancho Santa Fe. They had timed their suicides to the passing of the Hale-Bopp comet, behind which they believed a spacecraft was traveling. They thought they would take the spaceship to an ultimate afterlife. Scientology is the study of knowingness. It increases one's knowingness, but if a man were totally aware of what was going on around, he would find it relatively simple to handle any outnesses in that. L. Ron Hubbard. Scientology was invented by science fiction author L. Ron Hubbard. The Church of Scientology has 700 centers in 65 countries and is a profitable global racket. The church has invented hundreds of goods and services and convinced members to give donations for them. Scientology has committed financial scams and created front groups in the publishing, consulting, and healthcare industries. Moreover, the organization actively works to get rid of or bankrupt its enemies through legal channels. The church employs 100 attorneys at an annual cost of $20 million. Take away the Book of Mormon and the Revelations, and where is our religion? We have none. Joseph Smith. Mormon doctrines are in stark contrast to the teachings of the Bible. The faith treats the Trinity as three separate gods. Academics question the authenticity of Joseph Smith as a prophet. Religion is a snare and a racket. Charles Taze Russell. Charles Taze Russell, an early Christian Zionist, founded Jehovah's Witnesses. He asked his followers to read Scripture only through his interpretive lens. He taught that the apocalypse was imminent. Only those that devoted themselves to the JW faith would be saved. If you like our content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Also, consider forwarding this video to someone who might benefit from its message. It's word-of-mouth referrals that cause the channel to grow. For more resources to help you in your deconstruction journey, please visit www.naturalview.org. Thank you.